Hey friends, welcome to Chapter Book Storytime, where we are, of course, reading Coo by Kayla Noel. In our last chapter, it's finally Christmas. Coo got up very early and made a beautiful Christmas card for Tully. Tully has been staying up late at night and knitting secretly, making a doll and a set of clothing for Coo's Christmas present. Coo adored the doll instantly and named her Queenie. Coo also made a Christmas card for Aggie, and at the very end of the chapter, takes it to deliver up to Aggie in her fourth floor apartment and gets invited to come in for brownies. So, Coo's about to have her first experience interacting with another kid her own age. In this, chapter 15, Aggie's apartment. Aggie's apartment was so different from Tully's. Pictures crowded the cream-colored walls. Paintings, drawings, posters, and photographs of buildings, animals, birds, and people. Coo looked closely at one photo of a woman in a poofy skirt and strange shoes, holding her arms up in the air in an arc, and, startled, recognized Aggie's mother. "My mom was a principal in a big ballet company," said Aggie. "Now she teaches and does choreography and stuff." Coo nodded, even though she didn't know what principal, choreography, or ballet were. They went to a kitchen crowded with dishes and tangled potted plants, and Aggie carefully cut 2 brownies from a fragrant tray balanced on pans atop the stove. She plunked them on a pair of small plates. "Are you into playing with dolls?" said Aggie, looking at Queenie. Coo hesitated, not quite understanding, then nodded. "Her name's Queenie. Tully made her." "Tully made that doll? Like, sewed it and everything?" Aggie raised her eyebrows. "That's so cool!" Plates of brownies in hand, Aggie led Coo out of the kitchen and through a room cozily packed with sofas and chairs and tables. She turned down a hallway lined with bookshelves, almost as many as at the library where Tully had taken Coo a few times. Through a slightly opened door, Coo saw an older girl laying on a bed piled with pillows, reading a book. From underneath another door came the sound of a guitar. "My older brother and sister," Aggie said. "They don't really play with me much anymore. Teenagers, you know." "Oh," said Coo. She didn't know, but she also didn't want to tell Aggie that. They were halfway down the hallway when Coo froze. Stalking its way toward them, white, fluffy, and ferocious, was something she never expected to see indoors. She gasped, hugged Queenie, and pressed herself against the wall. "Oh, don't be scared, Coo. It's just Sugar Plum. He's a sweetie." While Coo watched in horror, Aggie put the brownie plates down on some books and swooped the cat into her arms. She nuzzled its neck. The cat went limp and swished its tail. "Want to pet him?" Aggie asked. "Seriously, he won't bite or scratch." Hesitantly, Coo touched the cat's back. His fur was as soft as Tully's thickest alpaca yarn. To Coo's shock, he made a low growl, and his whole body seemed to vibrate. She snatched her hand back. "See, he's purring," said Aggie. "He likes you. He's a good cat. Popo always said he was less trouble than a cushion. He was really my grandma's cat." Aggie gave Sugar Plum a squeeze and then let him down. Koo thought she saw something sad ripple across Aggie's face. Sugarplum scampered down the hallway and disappeared. "Here's my room." Aggie handed one brownie plate to Koo. She picked up her plate and then the brownie and took a bite. Then she opened the last door in the hall. "My parents turned the dining room into their room so we could each have our own." It was a very small room, only slightly bigger than the dovecote. Aggie's bed took up most of it. On the floor was a soft pink rug that hugged Koo's feet like a pile of feathers. On the walls were posters of girls and women in the same outfits Aggie's mother wore in the picture of her in the hallway. Perched on a high shelf above the bed was a row of dolls, much fancier ones than Queenie, looking still and sleepy. All around on the floor, and peeking out from underneath the dresser wedged in by the door, were piles and piles of books. Koo took a nibble of her brownie, then another, and another. It tasted like a peppermint candy and a chocolate bar and a piece of cake all rolled into one. It was delicious. She fed one large crumb to Queenie, then popped it into her own mouth when Queenie was done. "We could draw if you want," Aggie said, finishing the last bites of her own brownie. "I have a lot more art supplies than Tully." Aggie pulled a large, flat plastic tub out from under her bed. Koo gasped at what was inside. Hundreds of crayons in every color, dozens of markers, thick and thin, a rainbow of paper, jars of glitter, stacks of stickers. She stared at it all, speechless. "Oh, it's okay if you don't want to," Aggie said. She quickly covered the tub again. "No, draw, please." They drew in silence at first. Koo was making a pigeon using markers in 3 shades of gray. She glanced at Aggie's drawing. It was a girl standing on one foot, with the other in the air. "What's that?" Koo asked. "A dancer, a ballerina." "What's a ballerina?" "A ballerina is a ballet dancer. You don't know what ballet is?" Aggie looked puzzled. Koo focused on coloring a wing. She was trying hard not to blush. "Where did you say you were from again? Dove something?" "A Dovecotia." "Oh, right," said Aggie. "Never heard of it. What language do they speak there?" "Bird." "Weird. Never heard of that either, but I'm not good at paying attention in school, so there you have it." She paused. "Not good at dance either. They made me stop." "Stop dancing?" "Yeah." Koo knew what dance was. She loved to twirl, leap, and move, especially when she heard music, and Tully had told her the word for it. "I was in a really important ballet school since I was little, but they make you audition, and last summer—" Aggie looked down. I didn't get asked back." Ballet, it seemed, had something to do with dance. "Why?" said Koo. "Just go back." "Well, that's not how it works. They have to want you, and they didn't want me." "Why?" Aggie pressed her lips together so tightly they disappeared. "Because I'm not good enough." "Not good?" Koo was baffled. Anyone could jump and spin. "I can't dance. I'm bad." Koo looked at Aggie carefully. She had pretty, glossy black hair, a round face, and blue plastic glasses. Koo peeked at Aggie's feet. Were they injured in some way she hadn't noticed before? No. They looked fine. But you love dancing, Koo said. That makes you good. Aggie looked at her with eyes that were so full of hurt, Koo flinched. She knew she had said something wrong, but what? No, it doesn't. Other girls were better, so the teacher didn't let me come back. No more ballet. Do ballet anyway, Koo said. Why stop? It's not the same without classes. Aggie stretched out her legs and studied them, frowning. You need lessons and other people to dance with, or it's not ballet. No sense, ballet. Aggie looked up. You've never seen ballet, have you? Koo shook her head. Oh, okay. Well, see, the dancers on my posters there? They're ballerinas. She pointed to a trio of women in tight pink tops, puffy skirts, and strange shoes. Their hair sat atop their heads in perfect shiny buns, and they looked very serious. They dance with really beautiful costumes on a big stage, said Aggie. It's the most amazing thing to watch. You like doing ballet? Asked Koo. Why? You mean instead of just watching? Aggie looked surprised. Watching is good, I guess, but when you actually dance, it feels like everything is magical instead of normal. Like you go to another world. She lifted up her arms, like I may be flying, even though my feet are on the ground. Koo raised her eyebrows. She knew what it felt like to want to fly. Show me ballet, Aggie? Right now? Please? It wouldn't look right in pajamas. Aggie scrunched up her mouth and nose. And it's really crowded in here. Also, I'm not good. Koo didn't care about any of that. And with a reluctant sigh, Aggie stood up. See, this is first position, and second, Aggie said, quickly moving her feet into shapes Koo never thought about feet making. And here's fifth. Koo was puzzled. She thought dance meant moving, not standing still in funny ways. Maybe ballet was different than she'd imagined. And this is a plie and a pirouette. Aggie stopped speaking. She was just moving. Her arms arched up, and her legs leaped, and her body twirled. Koo watched, mesmerized. No wonder Aggie was so sad. Ballet was magical. Can you teach me? Aggie froze mid-plie and looked at Koo. Me? Teach you? Koo blushed. Yes, stand up. We'll start with the first position. Aggie's dad poked his head around the door. Time to go, Koo. Your aunt is here. Aggie, it's getting close to bedtime, he said. Koo didn't want to leave, but she knew she had to. She brushed the brownie crumbs off Queenie and onto the plate and stood up. You can have my drawing, Koo said to Aggie as they left the room. Thanks, said Aggie. She was walking very slowly down the hallway. Koo followed, clutching Queenie and keeping one eye peeled for Sugar Plum. You're so lucky to have Milton, Aggie continued. She stopped to pick up a book from the floor and shove it into a gap on the shelves. She looked back at Koo. Pigeons are cool, cooler than parakeets or parrots or even owls, at least in my opinion. They're so smart, but nobody really notices. Aggie got a dreamy look. Did you know pigeons can read letters? Like, they know the alphabet if people show them. They even can tell when words have a typo. Scientists did an experiment and proved it. I saw it on TV. Yeah, Milton Burr knows my name, Coo said. He reads words. Really? Aggie raised her eyebrows. She leaned against the bookshelves. How do you know? I know. Coo bit her lip. She wasn't sure how much it was okay to tell Aggie. Somehow Coo knew Tully would be upset if Aggie learned that Coo could speak to birds and understand them and had lived with them for so long. Teach me more dance, Coo said, hoping Aggie wouldn't ask more questions. Yeah, let's do it this weekend. Coo nodded. Aggie beamed. They made Aggie stop ballet, Coo said that evening, as she and Tully ate a dinner of tofu scramble. But she loves doing ballet. Burr sat at Coo's elbow, pecking at a dish of oyster crackers. Queenie was propped up against a glass of water, smiling happily at the ceiling. Her parents, really? Asked Tully. I would think her mother would want her to do ballet. No, teachers. Oh dear, I know the school she was in is very competitive. They said she was bad. I hope they weren't that blunt. Poor Aggie. Tully sighed. I thought she was just sad because her grandmother died. But she has other things going on. I'm sure she misses her friend Julia, and her friends from ballet, too. Aggie showed me ballet. She loves dancing. Why would they make her stop? Coo thought of the flock. Some pigeons were faster and more graceful in the air, but nobody ever made the slower ones stop flying. Ballet gets very serious as you get older, said Tully, and competitive. Competitive means everyone fighting for a spot. Coo remembered the way Aggie twirled and leaped and swooped around her small room. It didn't seem like it should be serious or competitive. You didn't tell her about where you lived before, right? Tully asked. A look of worry passed over her face. About the pigeons and how you came to live here. No. I'm sorry to ask you to keep secrets, but it's safer that way. I don't want to think what would happen if Aggie's father starts asking questions. He's a newspaper reporter. Tully closed her eyes and winced. I should have said you were from Estonia or something, not a fake country like Dovkotia. I wasn't thinking. You understand, right, Coo? Coo nodded. She did understand, mostly, but not completely. It was hard to find the words to ask more questions. Confusing being human, she said to Burr, refilling his dish of oyster crackers. Good food humans have, said Burr. Confusing how? Coo sighed. It was getting harder to explain things in pidgin, too. And that is the end of our chapter. Our next chapter, chapter 16, is called Feeding Pigeons is Not Illegal, Sir. And I'll read that in the next video. See you later.